Good morning, children. We are going to discuss about the next topic, limitations of vegetative propagation. Limitations of vegetative propagation. Okay, limitations of vegetative propagation. There are some limitations are there. Number one, plants produced plants produced plants produced by this technique. Okay, plant produced by this technique possess less vigor. Possess less vigor. Vigor means what? No special characters. Next, they are more prone to diseases. They are more prone to more prone to diseases. Next, another important one. They show no genetic variations. They show no genetic variations. This is the important. Okay. Limitations of vegetative propagation. Next concept is ours, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. What is sexual reproduction definition? Defined as the production of offsprings, production of offsprings. Okay, by the fusion of by the fusion of two gametes. Okay, to form to form two gametes means which one? Male parent and female parent. Male parent gamete, female parent gamete. So like this, there will be there to form a diploid zygote which develops into which develops into a mature organism. A mature organism. Okay, children, this is important. This point you should have to remember. Next, what we are going to discuss about is sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. So, sexual reproduction in which one? Flowering plants. Okay, children, observe very carefully what we are discussing. In flowering plants, in flowering plants, okay, in flowering plants, all the steps of sexual reproduction, all the flowering plants, all the steps of sexual reproduction occur occur within specialized reproductive organs. Reproductive, what you call, organs, reproductive organs, called the flowers. Called the flowers. Called the flowers. Okay, children, this is important. The flower may be defined as flower. What is flower? The flower is may be defined as specialized. Okay, specialized reproductive structure. Specialized. Okay, specialized condensed reproductive shoot. Reproductive, okay, specialized reproductive organs. Okay, reproductive shoot of flowering plants. Shoot of flowering, recall, flowering plants. Shoot of flowering plants on which are inserted the essential reproductive parts. Next, this is important. Most of the flowering plants most of the flowering plants, this is important. Most of the flowering plants, male and female, okay, male and female reproductive parts, male and female reproductive parts, okay, children, are present in the same flower. So such kind of flowers examples: hibiscus, called hibiscus, and mustard. Hibiscus and mustard, they are called, so these are called, what do you call, these all are, they are called bisexual flowers. What you call bisexual flowers. These are other in which single sex organ present in the sense, the single sex organ present in the sense either male or female, either male or female is there in the sense, what we call either male or female is present, like is present in the flower, is present in a flower, what we called papaya examples, papaya, okay, papaya. So such kind of flowers are called, they are called what you call, they are called unisexual flowers. Okay, children, this is important. Okay, children, observe very carefully. We are discussing about limitations of vegetative propagations. In the last class we discussed about advantages of vegetative propagations. In less time we will get more plants, very useful, very less time we will get more, like that. Benefits of vegetative propagation we discussed. What are the vegetative propagation methods? Cutting, grafting, layering, okay, like that we discussed. Now we are going to discuss about limitations of vegetative propagations. So what are the problems? What are the limitations? Plant produced by this technique possess less vigor, means no new characters, only old characters only will be formed. There is no new characters, no resistance of the character, no developmental character, nothing. So that's why less vigor. They are more prone to diseases. So frequently, easily, they will get the diseases. They are more prone to diseases. They show no genetic variations, no genetic variations at all. No changes, no genetic variations. Next, sexual reproduction. The what is the meaning of there is no genetic variation, so no changes, no developmental changes at all in the limitation of vegetative propagation. This is up to one topic. So this is one topic. Now we are going to discuss about new topic, sexual reproduction. What is a sexual reproduction? The production of offsprings by the fusion of the two gametes. The production of offsprings by the fusion of two gametes, male parent gamete, female parent gamete, fusion of these two to form a diploid zygote. Diploid means 2n zygote, which develops into a mature organism. Sexual reproduction, okay, mature organism. Sexual reproduction in the flowering plants we are discussing. So, what is called? Zygote will develop into mature organism, right? In flowering plants, all the steps of sexual reproduction occur within the specialized reproductive organs. In flowering plants, all the steps of sexual reproduction occurs in the specialized reproductive organ. What is called in the plant's reproductive organ? That is nothing but what called the flowers. Flower is a specialized, okay, condensed, what do you call condensed reproductive shoot. Flower is a specialized condensed reproductive shoot of flowering plants on which are inserted the essential reproductive parts. In these flowering plants are which are inserted the essential reproductive parts. In most of the what you called in most of the what you called in most of the flowering plants, male and female reproductive parts are present in the same flower. In most of the flowering plants, male and female reproductive parts are present in the same flower. So, both male sex part, female sex organ, both are present in the same in the sense those are what you called bisexual flowers. Example, bisexual flowers, example, hibiscus, mustard. The single sex organ, either male or female, is present in a flower in the sense only male or female. Any one is there in the sense they are called unisexual flowers. Example, papaya. Okay, children, like that there will be the different types of bisexual flowers, unisexual flowers are there. We are going to discuss about complete characters of the flower. Okay, structure of a typical flower we will be discuss. What is there in the flower? Okay, those are all the things we will be discuss. Observe very carefully the structure of typical flower. What is flower? What are the things we have to remember? This flower we should have to. So a flower bears typical flower structure. Typical flower structure we are discussing. Typical flower structure. A flower bears. A flower, okay, bears. A flower bears an axis, okay, on which all the parts, an axis on which all the parts, okay, are situated. All the parts are situated. The axis has two parts. The axis has two parts. The axis has two parts. Number one is stalk, or number two pedicel, stalk or pedicel, and a swollen and a swollen upper portion, swollen upper portion called thalamus, called thalamus. Okay, children. It is next. It is okay on the thalamus. It is on the thalamus. It is on the thalamus. Very important. That all flower parts are based. That all flower parts are based. Are based. Next, a typical flower. A typical flower consists of. A typical flower consists of. Number one, typical flower consists of four main oils. Number two, namely calyx. Called calyx means nothing but what? Sepals. Number one. Next, another important one, you know very well, corolla. What is called corolla? Petals. And androecium, stamens, androecium stamens, and gynoecium. Okay, gynoecium, what do you call? Carpels. Gynoecium, carpels. So like this, there will be different parts are there. Okay, children, observe very carefully. We are discussing about typical flower structure. A flower. What is a flower? We are discussing. Base, an axis on which all the parts are situated. One axis is there, on all the parts of flower is situated. The axis has two parts, a stalk or pedicel. Pedicel is there, no? Stalk or pedicel. And a swollen upper portion is called thalamus. You know, rose flower, green color structure is there, that is thalamus. It is on the thalamus that all flower parts are based. Thalamus is the most important part where the all floral parts are based. A typical flower, okay, typical flower will be there. It consists of four main folds, namely, fold means structures, namely calyx, sepals. Calyx are called, what do you call? Sepals are there or not? Green color, like a rose flower, green color sepals are there. Corolla, then colorful petals are there, colorful petals. Androecium, male reproductive part. Gynoecium, scarpels, female reproductive part. Androecium stamens, male reproductive part. Like that, calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium will be present in the male reproductive part. Okay, children, tomorrow we are going to discuss about calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium in the next class. Up to that, you should remember these all parts. Thank you, children.